Thank you so much for hitting download. I have a special bonus training for you. I recently ran this training, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, to help you uncover the identity shifts and the strategy changes that need to happen when you are ready for more in your business and your life. And I absolutely loved this session, and I know that more people will absolutely love it. So I wanted to drop it on the podcast just in case you were at this phase and you are ready to step into your next level identity and your next level result, income, success, everything, right? Impact, everything in your business. And so when I ran this session, I just was in such great energy in the way that I was so aligned with everything that I was sharing. And that sounds wanky, but what I mean by that is that I'm so passionate about what I share on this session. And I felt like it would be really worthwhile sharing it with you because if you are ready for your next level, then unpacking the identity belief systems, the self-sabotage, the biggest things that I see that prevent us from taking ourselves to the next level, this will help shift this for you. And I absolutely love this. So I felt like I would drop it here on the podcast. Check it out. Now, if you prefer to watch with slides, because there was slides that I go through, which has all the questions on it. And the way that I would suggest you do this is pause when I ask you the questions and really ponder on the questions, because that's where the shifts and changes start to happen. Now, if you would prefer to watch it with slides and visuals, then check out the link in the show notes. I've popped it up on YouTube for you. You can go check it out there instead if you prefer. But otherwise, listen along. Let me know what you take away. Let me know what happens as you break through to that next level. And if you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram. I would love to hear what you took away from this bonus training. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Next Level Life podcast with Christine Corcoran. This podcast is made for the powerhouse businesswomen who are ready to ignite their fullest potential. This is where we will dive deep into the mindset breakthroughs and sprinkle in some kick up the butt motivation so you can scale your business with confidence and clarity. Whether you're craving more income, impact, or inspiration, this podcast will be your ultimate resource for all things next level. Listen in as we have authentic conversations with game-changing female entrepreneurs as we reveal the secrets of what it takes to rise and thrive. So go ahead, ignite your inner fire, and let's get you taking massive aligned action. Are you ready to elevate? Let's go. All right, so what I have planned for today is really an opportunity to explore what's holding you back. Are you feeding you up? Okay, all good, Vanessa. Tune in when you're free. Amazing. So today it's all about an online breakthrough session. So the highlight being breakthrough. Yeah, this is really what I want for you today, to be able to break through what's holding you back. And so I would love it if you've got a pen and paper handy, because there will be some opportunities to explore things for what's holding you back and what strategy shifts you need to make. So the whole purpose of today is to really explore that what got you here to where you are right now is amazing. And now you identified that it's time to then go to your next level, and what has got you here will not get you to that next level. So it's time to identify what that is. And I want to help you shift the identity and strategy shifts that you need to have and need to make in order for you to reach your next level. So I'd love for you just to give me an idea of where you're currently at. Are you A, curious to start thinking about your next level? Are you B, been feeling the growing pains lately and I really want to get out of my own way? Or are you C, in the process of leveling up and you know that you're ready for more? I'd love for you to pop in the chat and let me know which one is showing up for you, so I can get a feel for where you are. So a combo of B and C and a little bit of B. Amazing. Okay, perfect. This is going to be so good for you. Amazing. And so if you're also watching the replay, please feel free to share with me what's coming up for you. My DMs are always open, and everything that we go through today, I want you to know there's going to be elements where it might go to a deep level. It might go to a real clarity of holy shit, I didn't realize that was holding me back. And so I want to hear the breakthrough. So please don't just watch this randomly and be like, yep, cool, that worked, amazing, now, and move on. Let me know. I want to hear the breakthroughs. All right, so what we're going to be covering off today are the hidden patterns that are keeping you stuck at the same level, why your messaging isn't positioning you as the go-to and how to change it, the CEO level shifts that you need to make if you want to lead, get seen, and start to attract premium clients, and a powerful process to help you step into your next level, and an opportunity to rise. So most of you know me, and all the beautiful ladies that have registered, I've got a few people that don't know me there as well. So I'll also highlight a little bit about me and what I do and why I love doing what I do. As a high ticket sales strategist and mindset coach behind female entrepreneurs, I help you to attract high aligned, high ticket clients through rock solid money mindset and authentic selling. And what I love about what I do, it's not just about the strategy, it's about the mindset, and it's about your identity and what's holding you back. I am obsessed with neuroscience, obsessed with what makes us tick. And honestly, the biggest shifts that happen are always when we break through our own patterns and break through what's holding us back through our own limiting beliefs. And so as a coach and been doing, having 6 years experience in business development and sales for a global retail brand, I stepped into doing this, especially around the mindset piece, because that was really missing. He was so missing. And I had so many business owners that I worked with, because at the time when I was working in corporate, I managed a calendar of 100 clients. So 100 clients, helping them grow their businesses. Right? You can imagine dealing with 100 people at a time growing their businesses. It was really intense. And so what I found is that we would give some strategy to some people and they would run with it and do really well. And then other people, I would see them in a month's time and they'd not done anything. And I was like, what is going on? Like, is it me? What have I not communicated it effectively? And so I went then back and studied human behavior, studied communication styles, and then discovered what coaching was. So back then I had not even heard of coaching, did not know you could make a living out of it, did not know that it was even a thing that people wanted. And so I started to get obsessed with the coaching side and personal development, and explored all of this and started to put it into practice for my high level clients in corporate. And the corporate company were like, so obsessed with what I was doing, because I started to get great results with these clients that had been stuck for years. And they were like, what are you doing? There's something you're doing differently. And so I explained what I was doing, and they were like, can you teach the rest of our teams? And I was like, hell yeah, because I'm so obsessed with it. And then I got to a point where I was just stuck in the corporate, model, where I was just so bored with how slow things moved. And I was really like conscious of like, I really want to work with people that really want to grow their businesses, because even though I had a calendar of 100 people I was working with, not everyone actually wanted to grow. Some of them were super happy just being stuck and just doing the same old thing and not changing. That's not my jam. I love working with people who really want to change and are ready and ambitious and ready to take it to the next level. So if that's you, you're absolutely in the right place. So by the end of today, you will have identified the patterns keeping you at your current level and know what needs to shift in order for you to step into your next level and feel inspired for that next level expansion. And so with this process I'm going to take you through, we're going to be working with the subconscious mind, because that's where it all begins. So I'd love for you to share with me, have you ever wondered why you work so freaking hard and do all the fucking things and still feel stuck at that same level? I get if you are at this point in time, I feel you. Every single business owner feels this. I want you to know that you are not alone in this. Every single business owner feels this. Everyone feels like we're working, 24/7, doing all the things, feel like you have to wear all the hats and still feel like you're pushing up against the same ceiling. I know this because I've absolutely lived it again and again and again in the growth of my business. And so I say that because it's not just one breakthrough. There's going to be breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And like I got stuck at, 5K months. I got stuck at 10K months. I got stuck at 20K months. I got stuck at 30K months. And I was stuck in doing so much of the doing and not actually leading. My patterns were keeping me small, because you cannot see your own blind spots unless you do the work that I teach you to really unpack the subconscious mind, to be like, but what is it that's holding me back? What are the stories I'm telling myself? And what is the programming my brain has, which we're going to go into in depth. And nothing changed until I started to shift who I was being, not what I was doing, right? I really want to highlight this, because for you to have all the things that you really want to have, you've got to absolutely do the things that will get you those things, but it's about who you're embodying, who you're being. So if you're doing all the things, but you're doing it from a place of lack, or you're doing it from a place of like, I just have to do it because people are telling me that's what I have to do, and it's completely out of alignment with what your true calling is and what's really important to you, then you can keep pushing shit uphill, but it's not going to get you anywhere. And so I love helping women to break through to that next level. It's honestly what gives me life, and just to see those breakthroughs and that shift in their eyes and the change in the way that they act. Like I think back to a client literally this year, and we identified some of the patterns that were preventing her from being able to show up and do her thing. Like she was passionate about what she does. She really wanted to help the clients she wanted to help. But when it came to showing up online, when it came to actually owning her space and being like, and like she even had success with her podcast went like viral at one point, and she freaked out and then went quiet on socials and literally like backed away, and then went like literally MIA for a whole month. And we were like, what is going on? That's when she came to me and was like, let's explore what's happening for you. And we unpacked a subconscious pattern that was causing her to play small because she was so scared of that success, right? So you don't necessarily realize what is holding you back, but we identify the patterns, it'll start to help you unpack then what's holding you back. So I just want to highlight here too that I love working with ambitious women that have a great work ethic. And I know if you're here, you have a great work ethic, because that's who I attract. And I want you to know that you're not circling the same results. It's got nothing to do with your work ethic. You're not lazy, right? So I hear this so much that I feel like I even have this own self-judgment of like, if you just did more, if you just showed up and you just, kept working hours and hours and hours, that's not it. It's not your work ethic, right? It's because we're operating from outdated patterns. We're blending in and not standing out. We're still being the service provider and getting stuck in doing all the client work instead of being the CEO. And if you've been trying to figure it all out on your own, where that feels comfortable and that feels safe, but that's what keeps us playing small, okay? Our current identity is what's happening there, right? We're stuck there in that current identity, which creates the same results. So I want to talk to you about the power of your subconscious mind. Now, this is an open session, so please, Says and Vanessa, as you're tuning in, and other people that are jumping in now, with all, like, anything that comes up that you're like, I've got no idea what you're talking about, please pop in the chat and ask me questions, because I want this to be an interactive session. So your subconscious mind is your computer programming. So if you think about your brain, right, you have your conscious mind, which is the front part of your brain, which is where you actually think things through. It's where you problem solve. It's where you're creative. It's where you work from, right? And you want to think about that as what's currently on your desktop on your computer. It's what's open, all the open tabs. It's where you're awake, right? But what drives all of that is what's sitting in your subconscious mind, which is in the back part of your brain. Your subconscious mind is where you store your identity and everything that you've ever experienced, your life, your memories, your beliefs, your values, like your programming. So it is the hard drive of your computer. Now it's dictating the conscious mind. So it's then causing you to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, and behave in a certain way. All right. So if we don't address what's happening in the subconscious mind, we're not going to make much change at all. So I just want to highlight this, because sometimes we don't realize that our results are actually happening from our subconscious mind. So if you think about any thoughts that you have on a daily basis, a thought creates an emotion. So you might think, oh, am I ready for this? And the emotion is insecure or doubt or fear, right? And then the action from there is, maybe I'll just play small. Maybe I'm not ready, right? And then I just won't do that thing that's kind of scary. And then the result that we get from that is nothing, right? Or we get the same results we've currently got because we keep doing the same thing we've always done. Now, we can work on the mindset by changing our thoughts, right? Which is what I love helping clients with. We're going to work on the thoughts. But where do the thoughts come from? The thoughts come from your programming, your subconscious mind. They're sitting all the way back here in your subconscious mind, and it's informing your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your results. And what is most important that we work on is your identity beliefs, who you believe you are, right? What you believe you're capable of. And your programming is what is driving all of that. And so if we don't address the programming, that result is not going to change. So your programming, or your identity, is a way that I love to think about it, is made up of everything from your education, your upbringing, your values, your belief systems, your family dynamics. And what I mean by that is, like, there's subconscious rules that we have about what it means to be in our family, right? And so what is expected of us as a child in our family, all right? And so everything from our religion, our culture, our hopes and our dreams are in our identity, our fears and our doubts, our memories, all of our past experiences. Our brain is literally like a little filing cabinet. It stores everything, right? It does not forget. But you think about, like, what we think about on a daily basis is our conscious mind, but our subconscious mind is everything, right? It holds on to everything. Even what others have said about us impacts our identity, and our environment. So what we're listening to on a daily basis. So what we consume, right? What are we scrolling on TikTok? What people are saying around us, what conversations we're a part of, the music that we listen to, the TV that we watch, or the Netflix that we watch, the books that we read, and the people that we surround ourselves with, right? So all of that starts to impact our current identity. And if we're not aware of it, if we're not paying attention, it will start to drive our actions without even realizing it. And the circles that we surround ourselves with make a really big difference, because it changes the way that we show up on a daily basis, because we will act in accordance with who we believe we are and where we believe we're safe. So our brain always wants to keep us safe. It's its whole job is to keep us safe. And it does that by looking at what we've done in the past to see what was safe. We look for the certainty of the past and go, well, we did that, so that must be safe. But that's not where growth hides out, right? Growth happens in what action you take in that's scary and the things that you've never done. So as you're stepping into the unknown, that's why your brain freaks out and causes you to self-sabotage, because you're like, I haven't done that before. That's going to be dangerous. I might die. I'll just go watch Netflix instead, right? So that's literally what it's doing in a millisecond of a moment. It's scanning your whole past experience to see, like, hey, have I done this before? And if I haven't done it, it's like, alarm bells. Don't do it, don't do it, it's too scary, go back to your cave, right? And so we've got to be so conscious of that. So we're choosing how we want to act rather than actually just listening to our programming, right? When we listen to our programming and we don't pay attention to it, we don't bring awareness to it, we keep playing in the same circles, and we keep doing the same behaviors, the same thoughts that create the same actions that create the same results. So it all starts to change when we address our identity. And then that brings me to our identity about our beliefs about business, our beliefs about money, our beliefs about success, and our beliefs about ourselves, right? What we believe we're capable of. And, you know, like if we don't have representation in our life of what it means to be successful, like, do you know any millionaires? Do you know any business owners that are extremely successful? Maybe one, maybe two, right? And so what happens is our subconscious mind goes, well, that's not we don't have any representation of that. Is that safe? That seems dangerous. I've never been there before. And so if we have experiences around money where we're stuck in scarcity or where we're, you know, normally just getting by, that still creates a sense of familiarity and safety. So we keep repeating the same patterns over and over and over again, hoping that things will change, but it's not until we start to do the identity work that things start to change. So here's my framework when it comes to shifting and changing this. First, we must identify it. We've got to identify our current identity, the patterns that are keeping us at our current level. Secondly, we step into dissolving the limiting beliefs, the fears, the self-sabotaging patterns, so you can start to step into a new way of being. And when we do that, it's literally like a feeling of freedom. So you're like, oh, I'm not impacted by that anymore. It's like, I don't even think like that anymore. Like, that's crazy. And then lastly is embodying. The embodying piece is really important because you can start to change and shift your belief systems, but if you then keep going to do the same patterns, then you just create the same evidence, and then the brain's like, we'll just stay here. But you've got to start to embody that next level identity. And that could even be like going, well, hang on a minute, what type of business owner who has $1 million business, if that's what your goal is, what are they doing and how are they spending their time? And why am I not doing any of that? Is there something there that I can start to adopt? What's the mindset that they have? What am I adopting in order to step into that next level action? Because sometimes there's an element of like, we don't know, right? Because we don't have representation of it in our world. So you've got to go look for it. So thinking about like what you consume and how you surround yourself with the right people and how you have conversations that will level you up and challenging yourself to get the support that you need to also level up, right? That embodiment piece is everything. I had a whole year of this last year where it was a whole massive identity shift where I challenged myself to look at my limiting patterns. And I do this on a regular basis. Like I literally uncovered a really limiting pattern around money last week that I was like, oh my God, like I was so shocked by it when I actually accessed it in my subconscious mind. I was like, shit, I can't wait to shift that. And I did my own processes to shift it for myself and felt so much better the next day. I was like, holy hell, didn't realize how much it was holding me back. And then the last there is the embodiment piece, is that I chose to invest in myself. I chose to show up and do the hard things. I chose to choose courage over fear every single time. I chose to put myself in the rooms where I felt like I did not belong. All of these things were embodying my next level of identity. So now I feel like those are normal things for me to do, right? And so you are always evolving, you're always changing, but you've got to decide who you want to change into. And so hopefully today will give you that clarity. All right, let's talk about the 4 hidden patterns holding you back. And I want you to start identifying. Now, this is where you're going to need a pen and paper because we're going to start questioning here. So firstly is the hard work loop. Now, I just want to identify that we're not judging your past self, right? What you did to get to where you are today is fucking amazing, right? The results that you've achieved, the things that you've overcome, everything that you've done to get to where you are today is incredible. So I'm not judging that past self. I'm acknowledging like, yes, that those patterns, those behaviors, those belief systems got you to where you are today. But if we've identified for us to get to that next level, which ones are keeping me stuck? Which one do I need to get rid of? Which patterns are showing up for me that I don't need anymore in order to get me to that next level? So this is where we want to highlight this. And I say this because I believe that I am a hard worker. I have a really good work ethic, right? I came from a family of farmers. Like, they work so hard, but yet in this day and age, I have an online business that I can work from anywhere. AI is taking things to the next level. We have space and time to be creative, and it's not hard, laborious work. But the mindset of hard is where we can get stuck in this loop, where we believe that if we just work harder, it will fix everything. Or we get stuck in the busy as a badge of honor, that of like, oh no, I'm really busy, I'm things are good. But I've started to change that to be like, I'm not busy, I'm in demand, right? Starting to shift and change that mindset, because instead of I can get caught in that busyness instead of actually looking at what really needs to change. We can be stuck in burnout, that hard work loop of like working so hard that you actually exhaust yourself to then burn out and then need to rest. And then you get stuck in that loop. And that actually causes a lot more damage to one, your nervous system, but secondly, to your business, because then you have to like take a step back and that consistency then drops and then you lose the momentum. Instead of actually taking bold moves in the way that you want, needle moving activities that will change things for the better. Lastly, ignoring the clues of success because it feels scary, right? That's like, oh, I'm just going to stay doing the thing that I'm doing, but over there, someone else is doing something really different and maybe I should do that thing, but no, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, right? It's like, don't ignore those clues of success. There's certain things that people are doing that you have even noticed yourself, but you're still hiding. You're not doing the thing that you think will change things. All right, so let's explore what's happening for you in this phase, in this pattern. What part of your business do you feel like you're over efforting in? Where feel like you're pushing shit uphill, the hoping that it will finally work. I want you to identify what that is. And if you feel comfortable popping in the chat, feel free. If not, all good. We're just going to do a little bit of journaling on this. So we'll start there. What part of your business are you over efforting in, hoping it will finally work? Are you spending more time doing than being seen? And what is that really costing you? So where I see this play out for a lot of my clients is that they get stuck in doing all the client work. They get stuck in doing all the busy work. That's like updating the website and updating my copy and creating the content plan, but then actually not even using it, right? And getting stuck there and realizing that that means that I'm stuck because it's costing me time, money, energy, dream clients, right? Because they're not positioning themselves in a way that makes their dream clients come to them. They're not attracting people. They're still feeling like they have to push to create those results. And then they find that they are just having to accept whatever client comes their way because they're like, well, this is all that's happening, right? So I need to accept it. And I just get stuck in that cycle. So where do you feel like you're doing more than being seen? And what is that costing you? And the reason why I ask what is it costing you is because for your brain to want to change, we've got to identify the pain of it, right? So we change for two different reasons. We change because it's painful and we're like, we don't want to be there anymore. I've got to make a change. Or that where I really want to be has such a pull and desire that I really want to work towards it that I'm like, I'm sick of doing that thing and I'm over here and I'm going to do everything I can to get there, right? So we want to identify that pain of it because sometimes that's a real motivator to make a change. And then lastly there, what do you believe about success that keeps you busy but burnt out? What do you believe about success that keeps you busy but burnt out? Did you have like an internal thought of like, because it's hard? Because success is hard? Right? Like sometimes it's just an inner chatter, or there might be some other belief systems that are showing up there. And if you feel comfortable sharing, feel free to pop it in the chat. Awesome says, so feel like she's over efforting in admin and behind the scenes stuff, trying to do it all myself. Yep, definitely the doing. When I get busy, everything falls to the wayside, including showing up. So common. Like, please don't judge yourself on this. Like, this is so common. And the last one, like, what do you believe about success? Is that working hard equals more money, more success. Yikes. Yeah, that's the programming. Yeah, exactly right. So it's like, well, actually, is that even true? Is that even true? Do you know someone that works their fucking guts out? Right? I hope people are fine with me swearing because hello, that's me. I know you are, Says. I'm just like concerned with like people watching the replay going, oh my God, she swears a lot. But like, do you know anyone in your life that works so bloody hard that is actually super successful? And I think sometimes we've got to acknowledge as well that the difference between men and women, like men are on a 24-hour clock, whereas women, we are on a 28-day cycle. So we work very differently to men. If we try to adopt the same disciplines and the same masculine way of going about work, we will burn ourselves out. And so we've got to actually learn to acknowledge that the rest is just as important as the work, and working with aligned action is where it comes into play, right? And that's where it becomes easier, where you're not pushing is where it becomes hard. All right, pattern number 2, invisible messaging. If you're talking like everybody else, right? If you're saying the same things that every other person in your industry says, if you're using watered down language that doesn't position you as an expert. Now, As an Aussie, if there's other Aussies tuning in, New Zealanders tuning in, I see this as a common thread because we experience the tall poppy syndrome. If you're American, often this is not a problem. And I love that about Americans because they use strong language. They're more confident to basically say, this is who I am, this is why you should work with me, this is who I've worked with in the past, and this is the results that I can create. Like they're really forthcoming with that. Not everyone, but like they're really strong with that confidence level. And so we as Aussies and New Zealanders like really struggle with that. We're so conscious of like, oh, I can't like be seen as different to other people, or I can't be seen as like getting ahead or telling everyone how good I am because I'm being too boastful. But that is actually what's preventing you from being seen as the go-to person in your industry. You're not owning your experience. You're not owning your expertise. And lastly, that means your clients cannot see why they should choose you over anybody else, right? That's what keeps you stuck. If they cannot know, okay, why should I choose you? If they're asking that and you don't have clarity around the answer, you're not communicating it, that's what's keeping you stuck with your messaging. So I want you to ask yourself, if you fully owned your expertise, how would your content change? How would even what's on your website change? Right? Like if you truly owned it, and I make a couple of notes because this is where the valuable nuggets will start to come through. If you owned your expertise, how would your content change? And what are you afraid people might think if you actually said what you want to say? What are you afraid people might think if you actually said what you want to say? And if you're watching the replay, pause and take the time, like really go into it in depth, because that will unpack some of your fears, some of your doubts, or some of your programming. So I remember when I did this for myself, I had belief systems around like, oh, if you're too flashy, people will judge you. And that was a pattern that came from my parents. I remember I literally have a vivid memory of them judging someone else with a brand new car. And it was like an expensive car. And I was in my parents' car, and they were seeing someone else drive out in this beautiful, flashy new car. And they were like, oh, look at them being flashy. And so in my mind made that mean that that's not okay to show people that you're successful. Right. And so I was like, oh, if I go and show people that I'm successful, if I say the things that I really want to say about success and about money, people are going to judge me. And that held me back for a really long time. And lastly what would it look like to speak from the version of you who's already known, already sought after, and well paid? I love this question. Let your mind go there. What would it look like? How would you be how would you be being? What would be different? If you were speaking from the version of you who's already known, sought after, and well paid. Do you think that would change how people will respond to you? Yeah. And the thing is, like we're so fearful of doing that thing that it actually prevents us from truly owning our space. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be sharing a lot more. Love this. So good. That someone will call me out. So I'm worried about someone calling me out for saying the wrong, incorrect thing, right? So fear of judgment. And lastly, I'd be confident, I'd be happy, I'd be excited to share my experience. Right? Isn't that funny how that like literally that pattern of like, oh, I'm so fearful of that judgment is what keeping you from being the true confident self that you really want to be. Thanks for sharing, lovely. And pattern number 3 is employee thinking, right? When we're stuck in if we've come from 9 to 5 and we're into our business, we're stuck thinking that we just have to keep spending more time. Time does not equal money, does not equal value. Spending more time is not what people pay you for either, right? You get stuck in the time versus money trap. And you get stuck in constantly doing instead of actually leading, right? We get caught up in being reactive instead of really proactive because we're so focused on stuff that we're spending time on instead of actually stuff that will move the needle. There's no focus on big picture decisions. You're not being the CEO of your business and you're just doing the things that being the operator in your business, right? And so this is the hard part when we get stuck in this trap is because we're like, oh, but this is what makes me money, right? If I do the things, that's how I get the money. But that's also what keeps you in the same cycle. Whereas we've got to start thinking differently about how you make money and the value that you add to your people, because you get paid for value. You don't get paid for anything else. And so if you can shift your thought around, like rather than time or working or doing, you go, well, where's the value? How am I producing more value? How am I showing more value? How am I communicating value? Because that's where things start to shift and change from how you attract the right clients, how you own your own worth and actually charge correctly. Like all of that comes into play. If you have no time to work on your business, because again, we get stuck in the operator shoes, you're not allocating time. And I said this to a client yesterday and I was like, how much time are you currently spending on your business? And she was like, maybe like 3 hours. And I'm like, what will it look like if you spent a whole day? She was like, oh, I couldn't possibly. My clients would be upset that I'm not getting back to them fast enough. And I was like, that's actually not the real problem. It's your boundaries and it's being able to communicate your boundaries and making sure that you are proactive in the way that you manage your clients, rather than actually going, well, oh no, no, you don't get paid for being accessible, right? You don't get paid for being accessible. You get paid for your expertise and the value that you deliver. Lastly, there is trapped in client work instead of business growth. So we end up just in the cycle of like doing for client work, but not actually spending time on growth focused activities in your business. So a CEO steps out and start to think of it differently about like, where am I going? What's going to get me there? So what's showing up for you here? What decisions are you avoiding because you're too caught up in the day to day? Are you acting as a CEO of the business or just another team member? Ugh, that's like a hard question, isn't it? You're like, oh, fuck. Now, I sometimes look at this for my business, right? So I'm like, oh, my Mondays are my CEO days. I'm still acting as a CEO every day, but on like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, when I'm really in the depths of working with my clients, I'm actually the coach in the business, right? So I am the team member, but I'm still then coming back on a Friday and being the CEO. So I'm like bookending my weeks with CEO time. And lastly there, if someone looked at your calendar, would it scream leader or task juggler? And I know we've always got a long ass to-do list, but one of the things is like those tasks will actually show you where you're spending your time, and where you spend your time, you progress. So if you're progressing in just all the doing busy action and there's nothing on that to-do list that's actually growth focused, or that's actually going to start to shift things and move the needle in your business, then that's where you just focus on tasks instead of goals and KPIs that will move the needle. So I have a few more questions here with this one. What do you need to let go of in order to be the CEO of your business? Where are you wasting time that delegating would free up your time to focus on more important things? Now, delegating could be also automating, could also be outsourcing, right? So if you don't have a team member just yet, you want to acknowledge like for your next level. And I was literally saying this to a client yesterday, and I asked her, she's doing 20K months, and I was like, how much of that are you actually spending on team? And she's like, maybe like $150. And I was like, what? A month? And I was like, what does that even get you? Nothing. And I was like, you should be at least spending 10 to 20% of that on team, because you cannot scale beyond that without actually allocating to actually keep you in your zone of genius and allow you to be able to outsource everything else, because you cannot do everything yourself. And that's where I think the employee mindset starts to shift as well, because it's like, well, what are you telling yourself? Like, oh, I have to do it all myself, or it's better if I just do it myself. Like I'm the only one that can do this. That is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And so you've got to acknowledge that and be like, okay, I'm wasting my time trying to do all of this myself. It's not getting me anywhere. I'm still stuck. It's not getting me anywhere. It's time to actually get better at leading others and leading myself. And lastly, what boundaries do you need to have in place in order to execute more effectively? Where are my people pleasers at? I feel ya. Boundaries is a big one I had to learn, for sure. So where are your boundaries and what needs to shift in order for you to execute more effectively? All right, are you ready to move on to the number 4? We good? Okay. Self-sabotage in disguise. We're doing all the right things, but somehow we're still getting in our own way. So here's how self-sabotage can sometimes show up. You start strong and then you stall because things get a little bit uncomfortable. You overthink decisions until the moment passes, and then you're like, oh, well, the decision's been made because I've just lost that opportunity, or didn't work out, or the time's passed. Like, oh, well, like, but it's actually because you it was almost like a self-protection mechanism. That's what self-sabotage is, right? You're like, oh, well, the time's passed. Don't have to think about it anymore. You wait for clarity, but clarity never comes because action is actually what creates it. You shrink when things get too real, too visible, or too successful. That was my client that I was talking about earlier with her podcast going really well. She was like, oh shit. And then she went MIA. You sabotage the very results you say you want, right? This client of mine, we actually uncovered her pattern was that she'd burnt out previously in the past, and her story or her programming was, oh, if things get good and things get successful, one, I don't feel worthy of actually having things go easily because I've worked hard. And so she had this belief system about having to work hard in order to feel deserving. And that success meant burnout. So we actually had to shift those two belief systems in order for her to feel confident going after her next level. And lastly there, you want things to be perfect timing, perfect deliverables, and you're stuck in the perfectionism loop, right? When perfection isn't actually a thing. Perfectionism and also you can't get anything perfect until it's out into the world to get feedback anyway. So, but that perfectionism one shows up a lot for a lot of people. So Where am I holding myself back? What are some of the patterns, or what do you identify? And we're going to dive into this more in more depth, but where do you feel like you're holding yourself back? What am I afraid to say, do, or be for fear of judgment, fear of success, whatever it might be for you? And what patterns am I repeating? Perfectionism, overthinking, doubting, procrastination, imposter syndrome, getting ready to be ready, people pleasing, over delivering, undercharging. And the most important question down the bottom there is, when you've identified what pattern that you have, and if you'll listen to the replay, hit pause and really think about it, like what patterns. And usually people know this, like they know that they're a people pleaser, they know they're an overthinker, they know that they're a rescuer, they know that they're a perfectionist. Like we often wear them as badges of honor, but when you really truly look at it, what's it costing you doing that behavior? And why do you do it? Where did it come from? Where did you learn it? Because the thing is, we learn these patterns. They're not in your DNA. You're not like, it's part of my personality, it's not something I can change. No, you've learned it. It was modeled to you as a child, most likely, or in your adulthood, right? Like there's times where you're like, oh, you have an experience and then you overcorrect and then start a new behavior because it's trying to keep you safe, because you don't want to experience that past experience again. Or a parent or someone in your life, I modeled that behavior, and so that looked like it was safe. And so because your brain wasn't fully developed as a child, because it's not fully developed until we're 25, that it then takes it on board as like, well, this is actually how I stay safe in the world. I do this thing and that's the result I get, and that feels safe, even though it's not working for you anymore. So we've got to identify that, because this is most likely what's preventing you from leveling up. Any thoughts, questions before I move on to the shifts? No? All good, Vanessa. Hopefully this is resonating with you. Amazing. All right. So the shifts you need to make when you're ready for your next level. Number one is upgrade your identity. So we need to dissolve the old patterns keeping you stuck, upgrade your identity, and start embodying her, that next level. Start showing up as the go-to person now. Start taking that next level action. Think, act, and sell like the woman at your next level, and embody your next level CEO mindset so you can thrive. Right? We've got to identify that employee mindset of like, oh, that's where I'm getting stuck here. What would a CEO do here in this position? What would someone who's already successful at this level do here? Start questioning those belief systems, because that's what's holding you back. And we're going to talk about this in another level, and I'm going to take you through a process for this. So who are you being right now? And is she capable of building the business that you want? What's missing? I want you to write down what's missing, because sometimes when we ask that question, it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm capable of building the business that I want, but why? Is it that I need better boundaries? Is it that I need more team? Is it that I actually need to invest in myself more? Is it that I actually need to learn something? Like there's elements there. It might be a knowledge gap. It might be a skill gap. It might be like, well, actually, I need to stop thinking I can do it all myself and start hiring. Like, what is it? And now, what would your next level self no longer tolerate? Because sometimes we need to get sick of ourselves enough to change, right? So I remember going through this whole people-pleasing phase in the early stages of my business, where I was over-servicing my clients. I was over-delivering. I was in the energy of like, oh, I better get back to them straight away. And so I was literally like waiting for bated breath for them to message me in my community and be like, oh, I better get back to them straight away. And yet what I realized I was doing was creating a codependent relationship with my clients that was not serving them. It wasn't helping them come up with their own solutions, which then left them to be codependent. And I did not want to be a codependent coach. That was not something that I was there for. I want my clients to feel like they absolutely believe in themselves, and then they're actually able to take that action because they believe in themselves, rather than going, oh, well, I don't have the answers, I've got to ask someone else, right? That's the last thing that I want to do as a coach. And so that needed to be a next level shift that I needed to have, because I was like, I no longer need to tolerate that. I need to actually step away and start leading better and coaching better. And then lastly there, what decisions are you postponing because you're still thinking like the older version of you? I would actually sit and journal on that question for a good hour. What decisions am I postponing? Maybe not an hour, maybe like 20 minutes. What decisions are you postponing because you're still thinking like the older version of you? I had this as well, like in the early stages of my business with my money. I wasn't actually treating my money with respect. I wasn't taking the time to be like really considering my investments. I wasn't taking the time to be like, well, managing it effectively. And I was like, well, that's the older version of me that believed that I wasn't good with numbers. But the future version of me is a freaking boss, and she's across her numbers, right? And so I was like, oh, that's where I needed to shift that. So what's showing up for you? Or actually the other one as well was like, oh, I'm not the expert. Showed up a lot as well, right? I was like, oh, I could do that thing, but I'm not the expert. But that was the older version of me of like, well, actually, no, I've been in this long enough. I've coached enough people to know what I like, love what I do, but know what I'm doing. And so I needed to really own that and be like, no, I'm going to show up and start sharing more. I'm going to start speaking my truth and start owning that space, because without that, nothing changes. All right. Shift number 2, owning your messaging, speaking with confidence and clarity, communicating from your future self, standing out, choosing to stand out. No more blending in, no more tall poppy, no more like doubting, like, oh, I'm going to be torn back down. Like, one of the things is when I had to shift that for me was like, I could be stuck in that fear and just keep myself playing small, but then have so much regret in the future, hate myself for not actually doing what I really want to do, and not own my space at all. Like, that wasn't serving me either. So I needed to own my space and start telling people why they should choose me. So really starting to own your messaging. So I want you to think about how you could start doing that for yourself. Own your space and tell people why you. Why you? Number 3 is start leading. Start leading like a CEO. Stop drowning in tasks. Learn to prioritize. Set clear boundaries to execute. Focus on visibility, decision-making, and growth. And act like the leader your business needs. This is when, so many my clients have this shift where they're like, oh, I've been treating my business like a bit of a hobby, like a bit of a side hustle. And now I'm like, no, but if you were the CEO of a business that was doing 10 times what you're currently doing, how would she lead? How would she lead? You need to start doing that and being that person in order to get those results. So here's a couple of questions for you to start to step into this. What's one task you're doing right now that a true CEO would delegate, systemize, or delete? I've got some laughs there. I'd love for you to share in the chat. What's one thing that you're doing right now that a true CEO would just get rid of? This should not be on your plate. And have you even determined what your role is as a CEO? Like, taking the time to actually go, well, hang on, where should I be spending my time? Where are you still waiting for permission instead of leading with a vision? Swimming through emails, oh my fucking God. Yes, emails, right? Like, it would literally take someone, a VA or an EA, to spend 15 minutes to sort that. Like 15 minutes once a week, once a fortnight, depending on how full it gets. Like, that absolutely is something that just wastes our time. Secondly, where are you still waiting for permission instead of leading with a vision? I love this question. I remember like having this moment a couple of years ago where I was like, I really want to speak on bigger stages. And I was like, fucking create the stage. Like, stop thinking it had to come, like waiting for permission someone else to ask you. I'm like, no, fucking create the stage. And lastly there, what would change if you trusted yourself to make decisions faster? Successful people make fast decisions. They don't wait, they don't overthink, they don't get caught up in the, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if it's a wrong decision? There is no such fucking thing as a wrong decision. You learn and you lead. You learn and you lead, you learn and you lead. So what would change if you truly trusted yourself to show up and make those decisions faster? All right. Let's step into your next level. Who is the next level version of you? I'm going to identify who this person is. We're going to do a process around this. So 1, are they known? Are they sought after? Are they confident in their offers and their pricing? Are they attracting dream clients without chasing? Are they making decisions quickly without second guessing? Or are they operating like a true CEO? Who is this version of you? Can you just write down a couple of things? Yeah, all of the above. Amazing. Who is this person? Who is this version of you? How would it feel to be the woman who's known for what she does before she even introduces herself? How cool would that be? I had this happen like literally 2 weeks ago. I was speaking at an event and someone came up to me and like fully fangirled over me. And I was like, hi, I'm Christine. It was so weird. It was so weird. But then afterwards I was like, fuck, something is working, right? I was like, this is such a confirmation of everything that I've been doing, all the hard work, all the messaging shifts, all the pivots, it's working. And so it's actually a beautiful feeling to know that everything you've been putting into practice for your business is actually coming to fruition. It's awesome. Secondly, what becomes possible when you stop second guessing and start making confident moves? This is what happened for me last year. I was like, I'm just going to stop believing that it's not possible and I'm just going to go after it. I'm going to ask. Like, you have to shoot your shot, otherwise you just never get a yes. What would your business look like if you finally reflected the level you know you're capable of? If you want to screenshot this and spend time like journaling on this, it would be so worthwhile. And what's the real cost of staying at your current level for the next 6 months? Staying at that current level for the next 6 months will create the next 6 months, the next 12 months with the same results. right? Because everything in business works in seasons, right? So what you do now is generating the results for you in 3 months' time. What you do next month, it will generate the results for 3 months' time after that. Like it's all like what's the word? Like an avalanche. Like what you do now makes a big difference down the track. So who do you need to become for everything you desire to feel inevitable? Who do you need to become for everything you desire to feel inevitable? And I want you to take a moment, I want you to write down, what does that next level look like for you? Like what would be happening? What would you be experiencing? Where would you be living? What would you be doing? Can you make a couple of notes? Because for this process, I would love for you to get really clear on that. What would be the outcome of your next level? What would you get to experience? For me, I'd be on a yacht in Hawaii. It literally is like the vision of the outcome of me living the life that I really want to live. Like, and I am already living an incredible life, which is amazing. And I get to travel and I get to do all the things. And like that, there's always another level, right? And so I'm like, does anyone watch Below Deck? I'm like, I'm going to have my own crew and I'm going to own that motherfucking yacht. Like, and I say that not from a place of pretentiousness or anything like that. I used to work on cruise ships and I love the water and I love cruising, but I don't want to be on a cruise ship because there's like so many people. Whereas I just want my own space. I want that beautiful high level experience. I want to just cruise around Antigua and around the Greek islands. Like I want to have the ability to be like, hey, I'll meet you in the Caribbean. Can you be at this port? Like literally just have my yacht going around the world. Like that is what amazing, right? And to be able to work with incredible women. And then I think about like bringing a group of women on the yacht like that, then takes it to another level. So what is it for you? That's my vision, but what is your next level? The clearer you can get with this. Now, some people struggle with this part. I just want to highlight that because if we're sitting here and you're like, I don't even know what my next level is, that needs to be the first thing that you focus on. Get super clear and allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to not doubt. Don't get stuck in the, oh, but I don't know if that's possible. Like that's what's most likely one of the patterns keeping you stuck, right? You've got to believe in the possibility that you're available for more, that you are open to more, that you can receive more. And so sometimes there's a receiving block happening. So even just spending time on visualizing and just letting your brain wander, like just be like, well, what if, but what if, but what if, but what if, but what if, like all of it, right? What if that was all possible? And so if you think about where you're currently at, so we talked about your current identity, yeah? And then this is your next level of experience, next level version of you that you want to step into. What's in the gap? What do you need to shift? So we've identified a few other things that you need to shift, but is there anything else? Is there anything else that you feel like might be in the gap that you need to work through? Fear of success, fear of failure, not feeling good enough, not feeling ready, perfectionism, doubt or fear, people pleasing over delivering, undercharging, staying small and silent, not going after opportunities, stuck consuming, getting ready to be ready. This is just a few. So I just wanted to highlight just a few just in case, but like thinking about like, well, what do I think is in the gap? What's stopping me from getting to there? Right? And now there might also be elements of resources. So I might like, well, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the energy. They're all resources that it's all more about who you're being. And that person needs to be resourceful with the current resources that they have. Right? The more resourceful you are, the more results you get. Right? It's the people that don't let, like when their back's against the wall, they don't let anything stop them. They go after, they make it work no matter what. So that future you, is she owning, being that strong decision maker, overcoming her fears, silencing that inner critic, choosing courage over fear every time, owning her space, speaking her truth and evolving in the expansion, right? We're never done. We're always cooking. We're always like evolving. And so it's like choosing your evolution rather than just being impacted and being reactive. We're choosing that expansion. And one of the things I love to instill in my clients is like, we'd never make it mean like this, the shit that happens in business and in life, when we look at it from a place of like, this is happening to me, it can feel like really defeating and really like causing you to feel like you're not enough. But if you actually look at it and be like, how is this happening for me? How is this helping expand me? And how is this an opportunity for me to grow and move beyond it? That's what helps to shift in you evolve in the expansion, right? But if you're like, oh no, this is happening to me, we get stuck in the problem instead of looking for the solution. Yeah. All right. So what I want to do is start to take you through a beautiful process. So what I'd love you to do is relax back in your seat for me. And I'm going to access your subconscious mind, because remember how we spoke about your programming? Everything happens in your programming. If we don't shift your programming, nothing changes. So we've got to access your subconscious mind. You cannot do that with your eyes open. We've got to allow yourself to relax, and we're going to just allow your mind to wander. And so this is like a guided visualization. So I want you just to take your time just to sit back in your chair. I'm going to grab some beautiful music as well. And I'd love for you just to relax, and allow yourself just to feel the ground underneath your feet. Take a big deep breath in and exhale. Take another big deep breath in and exhaling out all the tension and allowing yourself just to ground into where you are. Your subconscious mind will take us wherever we need to go, and you're in complete control this entire time. So if you haven't already, closing your eyes down and turning your focus inwards. Bringing in another big deep breath in, all the way to the depths of your diaphragm, and exhaling out, releasing any tension and allowing yourself to deeply relax. Relaxing the muscles around your eyes and your cheeks. Releasing the tension in your jaw. Maybe giving your shoulders a roll. And directing your oxygen as you breathe deep into those areas if they need any more relaxation. And I want you just to notice the temperature of your body. Notice any niggles. And just releasing any tension as you bring your awareness down your body, through your head, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, down through your chest and your stomach. Breathing deep into your stomach and just releasing any tension and allowing yourself to fully relax. Feeling into your hips. See if you can release your stomach and release your hips a little more. Release your thighs. And allow the relaxation to flow down your legs all the way to the tips of your toes. And I want you to imagine you're standing on a street. And the sun is starting to set. And there's a few people around, but it's not hustling and bustling, it's just calm. And you feel at ease on this street. And you feel called to make your way down the street. Just gently walking down the street, and just notice the earth underneath you. Is it cobblestones or tiles or road? Notice the sun setting over the horizon. Continuing to breathe deep and calm. Feeling at ease on this walk. And as you make your way down the street, past some closed shop fronts, and the space just feels homely, like you've been here before. And as you continue to walk, you notice across the street there is a local cinema. And you've been to the cinema before and you can smell the popcorn. And you make your way into the entrance of the cinema, feeling a little bit of anticipation, also that you know you're just about to enjoy something that you've wanted to watch for a while now. That maybe you've been avoiding, maybe you've been putting off, but this is a perfect time for you to take your time to enjoy a beautiful movie. And you make your way into the cinema, through the candy bar, And there's someone behind the counter that welcomes you with a warm smile, like they know who you are and they've been waiting for you. They hand you your ticket, the number of the cinema on the ticket, and you know exactly where to go. You make your way up the steps, up to the aisle where all the cinemas are. You slowly walk along the aisle and find the right cinema, and it's all lit up ready for you. You make your way into the cinema and find your perfect seat. And the seat is so comfortable and it's positioned in the exact spot that you love to sit in your cinema, knowing that you have the perfect view of the screen. And as you ease into your seat and get super comfortable, you notice that your favorite snacks have been positioned beside you that you didn't even have to ask for. They just knew that they were for you. You recline the chair back a little bit because it's one of those beautiful luxe, relaxing seats. And as you do, the screen flickers to life and the curtains start to move back. And as the screen flickers to life, it brings to life this incredible vision of your next level. That next level vision that you've just been thinking about. That life, that future. That would just be so incredible to experience. And as the movie comes to life, you see yourself in the movie, experiencing that life. And I want you to see what you will see, hear what you will hear, and experience everything about your next level. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? It is so detailed and so vibrant, so colourful. And you can smell all the smells and hear all the sounds. Immerse yourself in that movie. And I want you to notice you. Who are you being? How are you standing? How are you walking? How are you speaking? How are you holding yourself? Who are you being that has all of those incredible results? Is living the life that you want to live. Who are you being? What does this future version of yourself value? What does she prioritize? What does she believe about herself? What does she believe about success? What does she believe about money? About business? And what does she believe about what's possible for her in the life that she's created? Just notice that right now. Notice all the sounds and smells of success. Look around and see who you're surrounding yourself with. Let this movie show you everything that you get to experience. That's it. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? As you watch it there on the screen. As you see it all, as if it's already happening. And now you see the screen turn to black, and it quickly rewinds all the way back to the beginning again. Now this time you stand up in your seat. You stand up and you walk towards the screen. Walk towards the screen now, and I want you to get up close to that screen And as you get close to that screen, you notice that it's almost like a portal. It is this incredible, like, undulating water. It's not a screen. That you are looking into the future, into the life that you've created. And as you get close, you notice that you can step into it. I want you to step into your future right now. Step into your future, and as you do, you're catapulted into that future. But your future self is still there. And I want you to walk up to her. And she doesn't notice that you're there, but I want you to stand beside her for a moment and see what she is seeing. Hear what she is hearing. Feel what she is feeling. Breathe how she's breathing. Smell what she's smelling. And as you're standing there, she gently notices you and gives you a beautiful smile. Like, I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? And she takes you by your hand and she wants to show you everything. She shows you all around the life that she's created, the people that she has around you, the experiences that she gets to experience, the things that she's created, everything she's achieved. And you're so giddy, and you are just like two little schoolgirls running through your incredible future, seeing everything and being so in awe of the life that you've created. Yes, this is our life. We're living this. Let her show you everything. And as she looks you in your eyes, she says, this is possible. You get to experience this. This is your life. This is our life. This is us. We did this. And as you look back at her, you ask, how? How did I do this? And I want you to listen to the incredible wisdom that she has for you. Ask her what you need to ask her. What did I need to let go of? Who do I need to become to create this reality? What did I need to prioritize and value to make this life my life? What do I need to believe about myself to make this possible? That's it. Receive it all. Receive all the incredible wisdom. And ask her, what else? What else do I need to know? Who do I need to be? And listen to what she has to say. And as she shares with you the incredible wisdom, you see a beautiful white light coming down from the universe in through the top of her head, filling her up and pouring out of her heart and into you. And as she does, she transfers across all that courage, all the confidence, all the belief systems, all the values, all the behaviors that she's now embodied across to you. And you become her. And as you do, you give her a hug and you merge to become one as she is you and you are her. And I want you to open your eyes in that future and see it through your own eyes. I did this. I created this. This is my life. And I want you to walk around and experience it all and look at it all and see who you're surrounded by and experience it through your own eyes. Feel what it feels like to be in that future self body. how she's breathing, how she's being, what she knows, what she believes about herself. And you know that this is your future and that you're on your way. So as you take a final look around, you know that it's not your future now, it's inevitable. It is possible. And everything that I do in this present moment is creating this. So make a promise to yourself to hold this vision, hold this feeling, hold this identity, and then make your way back to the beginning of the movie, stepping out of the screen. And then take a few steps back and just look up at the screen again at that incredible vision of the life that you have created. And make a promise to yourself that I'm doing this. This is happening. I'm choosing to be her now. And then slowly make your way out of the cinema, waving to the person in the candy bar with an incredible grin on your face, because you know you've got stuff to do. You've got action to take. Making your way down the stairs and then back out onto the street where the city has come to life with lights everywhere, people and bustling energy, and it feels so exciting. Making your way back home, bringing attention to your body, your fingers and your toes, and when you're ready, you can bring yourself back into the space and gently open your eyes. Okay. I'd love you to take a moment, just write down any beautiful wisdom that came through from your future self. Who she is, what she values, what she believes about herself, what she prioritizes, and how she shows up. And that beautiful promise that you made to yourself. I hope that you found incredible value out of really looking into what's going on in your internal world and looking at that future vision of yourself and looking at and feeling into what it would feel like to experience it. It can be a really powerful process. And that's just one of the little processes that I love to take my clients through to really help you embody and step into your future self. So now what you do with this is up to you, right? The action that you choose to take from here, because you can absolutely just continue doing what you're doing and get back into work and busy life and all the things, or you can hold that vision and choose to take action from her, right? That future self, that future vision. How you embody her now will change everything. So how you decide on a daily basis to be like, okay, am I just going to just keep living the emotional life that I live and keep just responding to what's happening around me? Or am I going to choose to embody that future version of myself? The people who choose to embody, the ones that shift and change, the ones that step into that next level expansion. Yeah. Amazing. Feel free to share anything in the chat of what's come through for you. I always love to hear any future self vision, wisdom that comes through. Yeah. Amazing. So I imagine that you showed up today because you know you're capable of so much more and that you're ready to be seen as the go-to person in your industry and you're ready to do what it takes to succeed. I've shown you over the last hour how to step into your next level, that to do that, you must identify the patterns keeping you here. That we need to dissolve the patterns, the beliefs, the experiences that create the same results, and need to start challenging yourself to feel the fear and do it anyway, to choose to embody that next level version of yourself. So where to from here? You can go back to what you've been doing and stay at your current safe level. That's totally fine. It's your choice. You could try to upgrade your identity yourself with all the books, the videos, the podcasts, hoping that things will change, or you could choose to expand and let me be your coach and your guide into your next level. I want to introduce you to a brand new offering that I've never had before called Her Expansion. This is about claiming your authority and rising to your next level in 6 weeks. Her expansion is for you if you're ready to get out of your own way and start embodying your next level, that you've identified that your messaging is no longer landing and you're not cutting through the noise, that you're attracting clients that don't see the value of investing in your offers, which is a messaging issue. You've identified that you have some self-sabotaging patterns that are possibly keeping you stuck, and you're ready to go to your next level to become that go-to person in your industry and stand out from the crowd. And it's for you if you are ready for more. In just 6 weeks, you'll shift from feeling overlooked and overworked to owning your space as a trusted industry leader. Over those 6 weeks, we'll have powerful weekly identity upgrades. So each week will unlock a new level of confidence, visibility, and leadership so you can step fully into your next level self. There'll be group coaching calls to get direct feedback, support, and the push that you need to stop playing small and start showing up like the go-to expert that you are. You'll have daily access to me via Slack, where you can, stop trying to figure it out all on your own, and you'll have daily access to coaching, accountability, and personalized guidance. And you'll have access to my proven templates, resources, and strategies to get the exact frameworks that help you step into your authority, raise your prices, and become the go-to expert. So one of my beautiful clients, Jess, she's a corporate burnout coach. And before we worked together, she felt so stuck, so unclear, and she was really fearing stepping into her next level. She had great experience. She'd actually even worked for Apple, and she still wasn't owning that. She felt like she wasn't good enough. She felt like she wasn't ready. And what we did is we actually did this identity work for her to really shift who she believed that she was and what she's capable of. And she became so clear in such a short period of time. And she was so surprised at how quickly things transformed. She said that in her time that we worked together, she completely switched niches. She went in 100%, and she wasn't afraid to ask for more and solidified a corporate contract with $5,000 over a single interaction. She started showing up on social media, getting comfortable with just trying and testing things and not being tied to the outcome. And now she does not feel scared to make big goals and take big, scary action steps. Here's a glimpse of what we're going to cover in the 6 weeks in her expansion. Week 1, the patterns keeping you stuck. We'll uncover the real reason you're plateauing and how to expand beyond it. Week 2 is upgrading your messaging and owning your worth and owning your space, shifting from convincing to confidently feeling worthy of more and embodying your worthiness. Week 3, I was having a bit of a typo there, sorry. Week 3, becoming the authority in your space, so stepping into bigger opportunities and becoming the go-to name in your industry. Week 4 is expanding your capacity to receive more, so learning how to hold more clients, more revenue, more opportunities without adding more work. Week 5 is confident CEO energy and habits that you need to adopt to stop second guessing yourself and start showing up like the sought after expert that you are and start treating your business like it is an incredible business. And week 6 is your growth plan to put everything together in a simple, clear plan for long-term growth. Her expansion, it's almost like it's a 6-week upgrade. So it is big and it is fast. So what I mean by that is that there's 2 sessions per week. So session 1 is on a Tuesday. Both are at 1:00 in the afternoon. The Tuesday sessions are the identity upgrades, where we focus specifically on the shifts that you need to have. We do beautiful processes to help you shift into that next level version of yourself or learn the specific things you need to do to level up. And Thursday is our group coaching calls, where you can bring anything that you need support with to get feedback, to get support and accountability to help you rise quickly. And then you'll have daily access to me via Slack so that you're not trying to figure it all out on your own. You know exactly what to action. The value of this program or experience is well over $7,000. And to get access to this kind of support, you would normally pay upwards of 10 times what it's priced, and the transformation you receive will last for years. Now, this is something like I've never done before. This will be the only time that it'll be priced at this, because I know that once I run it, I'm going to be like, fuck, this is worth so much more than what I'm pricing it at. And so the question is not about whether you can afford it, it's whether you can afford not to. The fast action price, which will only last for 48 hours, will be $777 for the full 6 weeks, which is crazy. Or you can split it across 2 payments, which is $397, and then the price will go up before the doors close next Friday. So this is super fast. We get started on not next week, the week after. So if you're ready to stop playing small, to lead with confidence and be known, seen, and paid at that next level that you desire, you can join me in her expansion, where you'll get access to me over the 6 weeks, and we can get you there in 6 weeks. So if you're ready to rise, the link is just below. I'll pop it in the chat for you as well. Amazing, Says, would absolutely love to support you. So excited. Let me just grab that link and I'll pop it in the chat for you. And I'm going to also open the floor to questions. If anyone has any questions with anything, it can be obviously about her expansion, or it can just be about anything that we've covered today. Okay. So feel free to pop your mic on if you have questions, or if you want to pop it in the chat, feel free. If you're watching the replay and you have questions, send me a DM. More than happy, honestly. Like, I love having good voice note chats in the DMs. So if you have any questions about anything that I've covered off today, send me a DM and I will be more than happy to answer anything. I'll pop my handle in the email afterwards and in where the replay is. So once you get access to the replay, the link for my Instagram will be below as well. So feel free to ask away. Does anyone have any questions at all? And thank you for sticking around. I know I went a few minutes over time. Amazing. Any questions, Vanessa? I loved this. Like, I absolutely love everything that we covered off today because it's so impactful when you really do the time to actually look at what's happening for you internally. Yeah, all good. Okay, great, Vanessa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing up live. I really, really appreciate it, and for being and working with me on the session as well. I really appreciate that. It makes such a difference. And I look forward to supporting you in her expansion if you feel called to be a part of it. And I look forward to seeing you really soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for listening, and if you found any value out of this episode, make sure you hit the follow button so you get access to the episodes as soon as they are live, and make sure you come hang out with me on Instagram. You can find me at ChristineCorcoran_coach. Have an incredible week.